pop in some Slayer and crank up the volume. Welcome to MojoPlays. For this video, we'll be looking at games that are so f***ing metal. Metal can mean a bunch of things to a bunch of different people. For some, it's a mindset. For others, it's a look. While for many more, it's the chaos and carnage that can best be found in the mosh pits of your favorite concert.
Shred is dominating the race!
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Regardless of your presence, this list focuses on those titles that best captures the essence of metal and always gets our adrenaline pumping and ready to kick some ass.
I see. Thanks. You still piss me off, though.
Shadows of the Damned.
Is it just me, or is this juice jockey angrier than the others?
Whether you like your games hardcore and serious or lighthearted and fun, you're bound to find something to appreciate here. This title treads that ambiguous metal line in an adventure that has enough skulls, booze, and monsters for anyone to enjoy.
Days like this make me glad I'm single.
Managing to make even a generic love story surprisingly cool, the player has to save their girlfriend from her repeated death at the hands of the demon lord who has kidnapped her. If you're not going to do it for her, do it for the dismemberments, organ trading, and wisecracking sidekicks.
Now here's a pretty prize. I smell an upgrade.
Rock and roll racing.
Olaf jams into first!
One of the earliest examples of combat racing, Blizzard's classic still holds up as being a blast every time you pick up the controller. Encouraged to cause as much carnage as possible to gain any advantage they can in the race, gamers are given a healthy arsenal of weapons to do just that and off the competition.
The carnage begins!
With some hard rock characters, gritty environments, a surprisingly awesome soundtrack, and enough explosions to satisfy them for days, you would be hard-pressed to find another SNES title that manages to be as complete a package as this one.
Olaf unleashes hot fury!
Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
Whoops.
This spin-off from the main series is not only one of the most wacky games out there, but is definitely one of the most badass. With a combat engine revolved entirely on efficient, devastating swordplay that looks good and feels awesome, you're going to be spending lots of time slicing and dicing enemies in half before wading through a pool of their blood. The plot is campy, but there's great scale to the boss fights that play to tunes that wouldn't sound out of place on some of our favorite metal albums.
Your reputation precedes you.
Carmaggedon.
Mommy!
Committing 100% to delivering chaos and destruction as purely as possible, Carmaggedon pushed the envelope and became one of the coolest, craziest racing games ever. The lineup of cars are designed and constructed with the sole purpose of destroying one another, and among the carnage of fellow players and intervening police officers, not even civilians are safe from the pain.
Sorry.
A dream for anyone who just wants to vent frustrations and smash things, this title never pretends to be anything more than it is, which we can definitely appreciate. God of War series.
Kratos, returned even from the underworld.
It's hard for games to keep up the intensity and brutality with each new installment of a beloved series, but the mythologically inspired hack and slash managed to shatter our expectations at every opportunity. The environments are desolate, the enemies are savage, and the only thing better than watching the bosses tear through the helpless civilians is being the one to rip them in half with your own bare hands. The executions are always painfully violent, there's never any shortage of blood, and it's hard to think of any video game character more suited to lead a wall of death than Kratos.
I'm going to cut off your head now.
Fair enough.
Devil May Cry series.
Whoa, slow down, babe.
With its gloomy gothic appeal, this heavily stylized demon hunting action game has it all. While the series is probably best known for being a challenging, combo-driven experience, fans will remember it for the dark visuals, awesome enemy designs, and the ever-badass Dante who walks headlong into battle to avenge his mother's death. It hasn't been a perfect ride, and we've yet to see how DMC5 will play out, but gamers' favorite demon spawn continues to embody that careless, I don't give a f*** attitude that makes him so damn cool. Heavy Metal F.A.K.K. 2.
Fry, you little bastard.
Inspired by Heavy Metal magazine serials and one of the rare titles to feature a female protagonist, this game does an admirable job living up to its pedigree. Fighting to save her home planet from alien invaders in this sequel to the animated film, you're in charge of taking control of Julie and gunning down everything in your path en route to saving the universe.
Groovy. Time to kick some butt.
It's cheesy, lighthearted fun, but with gameplay and lore inspired by cults and science fiction, it's easy to see why the game has become something of a classic to fans.
Looks like we'll finish this later.
Twisted Metal series. Taking everything from prior combat racers and turning it all up to 11, the acclaimed racing series has everything you expect from violent and bloody games, just with more car-mounted weapons. Whether you prefer hooking them up with flamethrowers or missiles, inflicting damage to destroy your competition has never been easier or more fun. And in a no-holds-barred street fight, it's hard to go wrong choosing from a field of assorted psychopathic racers. Once the mayhem starts and the adrenaline kicks in, it's hard to put the controller down, even if you really wanted to. Doom. The newest iteration on one of the original Metal games, id Software's Immortal FPS takes everything awesome from throughout the series and combines it into one fresh, destructive package. Wasting no time in dropping the player right into the bloodbath, Doom wants nothing more from you than to pick up your favorite weapon and get your hands dirty and ripping and tearing your way through the hordes of murderous hellspawn. This is one title that keeps violence on our minds the whole way through, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Brütal Legend.
You sure you're ready for this? Because what I hold in my hand is not just gonna blow your mind, it's gonna blow your soul.
There is not a single title, past, present, or future, that can compete with Double Fine's Productions' epic adventure game in terms of sheer metal.
The Rockstar's job is just to deliver the audience to the promised land of rock.
Gamers play as Eddie, a roadie bestowed with the power of the gods on a quest to save the physical world of heavy metal alongside hard-rocking chicks and hair metal icons. With a soundtrack featuring many of the classics, tons of homages to the music scene, and a Viking aesthetic that can immerse even the most impure of metalheads, Brütal Legend will forever be the bar that other metal titles are measured by.
Now with just a little bit of practice, I bet I can turn you dudes into a well-oiled machine of death. You into it?
Yeah.
Check out these other great clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.